here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, in the beautiful western Mass Berkshire Hills. This railroad is doing its first live video stream. I figured out how to do it with the phone here. And this railroad is technically considered a branch line. It's 5 tracks wide, 3 lower main lines and 2 uppers. And I'm going to try to do is get a train run in here for you guys. And one of the big railroads on this rail line is the Delaware and Hudson, Conrail, Penn Central, Southern Pacific with Rio Grande and Cotton Belt. And this is our first actual live video feed, which I'm surprised is working on the cell phone, thank God. I would have all 5 trains running. Oh, somewhere between the end of October, early November, this railroad will be featured on a program on Pittsfield Community TV called Know Your Berkshires, but a Civitan Club, and it can be viewed if you live in the towns of Dalton, Richmond, Pittsfield, or anywhere in Berkshire County where the TV show Know Your Berkshires is shown on the community access in the different parts of Berkshire County. And on that, you'll see all 5 trains running. And this used to be a branch line at one time, but it got converted over to a actual 2-track main line. Now, originally, I never intended to even have 4 tracks, but when the branch line was put in, it's just for showboating purposes, have a slow-moving train, but I still run slow-moving freights on these 2 tracks here. The railroad club has been in operation since the mid-'80s. The model train layout has been around for a lot longer. It's been through so many changes that if I had any really old video of what the layout looked like other than one that's on my other YouTube channel, you'd be shocked. At one time, this was a 1-track railroad. Now, I'm putting this video in memory of an old friend of mine that actually was a big fan of the Delaware and Hudson, and his name was Harry McGinnis. And a lot of the Delaware and Hudson stuff that I have on the layout was actually originally his stuff. I wound up acquiring it through a deal with the promise I'd keep his dream of the Delaware and Hudson still running. And back, say 2018 or 18 it was, that the Northern Berkshire Line Railroad became a bridge line railroad in the great tradition of the New England railroads like the Boston and Maine and Delaware and Hudson and Maine Central. And that's that section. Goes completely, this is the main table, goes all the way around to the back of the washer and dryer, out. Don't mind the quick movement of the video here. Comes out here. All the way down there. That's the Thornton Junction area. Well, starting right where that toolbox is, and goes completely around. That's the other part of it underneath the stairs. Then we have the half pit by the oil tank, pit 1, which is that opening in the table, and pit 2 is where the circuit breaker box is. We've had our, trials and stipulations of this railroad, but we've kept going even when we were short of staff. And our railroad is still strong and going pretty damn good for even having 5 tracks now. Now we have another railroad that's called the Berkshire East. That's our 16x8 N scale layout, which there will be a future video coming up. This is actually a test video to see if I could do a live broadcast on YouTube, and so far I did pretty damn good here. But, Yeah, running an RS-36 and a GP-38. I actually have a pair of RS-3Us, which have the long hood and then the short hood was cut down, and it has a windshield and cab. Let's see if I can get that other train over here very carefully, because the RS-3U is on that train, but it's got a Conrail switcher in the front. Yeah, the two trains are going in the same direction. It was the only way I could run both this one on the inner. Whoops. Well, the engine that's behind the Conrail switcher is the RS3U that I was talking about. There we go. A little tricky. Now I'm gonna stop this. Now the real Delaware and Hudson before Guilford took over actually had a couple of these RS3Us. They were engines that were rebuilt from wrecked units. Can't tell what the number is on that one, but there's this one right here and this one right here. So this is a new start for the Northern Berkshire Line Railroad doing live video feeds. And this railroad is kind of family ran basically. And we got the lower loop. There's nothing moving today because I want to make sure I'm able to do this live video with only 2 trains running instead of 5. And then when I feel comfortable, do all 5 trains. But this new video live feed, since now I got it working, I'm good to go. The Conrail switcher in the front's an NW2. A lot of my equipment's old, going back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s through the 70s, and a lot of the old stuff that ain't able to be fixed is being phased out and retired. And then whatever I retire either gets stuffed and mounted on a shelf or it gets stripped for parts to keep the others running. Oh, I should have made an announcement about doing this live video on Facebook. A lot of people probably would have joined in. Now, there's other YouTubers out there like Ours Railroads and North County Railroad that does live video feeds, and they're Delaware and Hudson fans too. I grew up with Penn Central, Conrail, Boston and Maine, and Delaware and Hudson, but mainly, the 2 railroads in Western Mass, which was Boston and Maine and Conrail, and before that Penn Central. We've seen a lot of changes over the years, but now we have CSX running both railroads by the looks of it. But the Pan Am part they bought is going to be ran by the Genesee and Wyoming in the near future, but it's still Pan Am, thank God. Then, we got the Providence and Worcester and all those other fancy, regional railroads. So look, we're going to call it a night here. And I hope everybody has a good night. Stay safe. Guess I didn't shut it off. Well, we're going to try to say goodnight here. If I know how to shut this damn thing off. And I'm the guy that runs the whole show here, so I want to say thank you for watching. don't even know how to stop this damn thing. Boy, this is aggravating. I can't stop the video.